Hello, lovelies. How are you doing? You're welcome to another sweet, awesome, great, mind-blowing episode of Grace Friend Podcast. How are you holding on? Hope you're good. Hope you're growing in grace. Hope you're growing in faith. If you're just joining us, you're welcome to this podcast channel where we share everything about grace. My personal experiences, and we draw life lessons for the journey of faith. And you have been listening over time. Thank you so much for your love, for your time, for the sacrifices you've been paying listening to this. Okay, so today it's not going to be a deep episode sort of. It's going to be something that I've been willing to share and to answer a lot of people that come to me. Okay, cool, I love the way you write. You've been writing for a time. I love your articles on Facebook, on social media platform, and I love your book and everything. So this episode is for you. So I've written over 6 ebooks. All my books for now are in soft copies, and they are available across all digital platforms, talking about Amazon, talking about Bambooks, talking about Okada Books, talking about Seller, talking about all these digital platform there is. My books are there, and I went from being afraid of writing, believing that I have nothing to write about, believing that, okay, my English is not good enough because I didn't really have a sound background in English language, and English language is not really my first language, it's not my mother tongue. So what I saw all those times before 2018 when I wrote my first complete ebook was limitation, was the fact that I cannot do it. And from the limitation, I grew into writing series of ebooks and also series of story series, several articles on my WordPress blog and on social media platforms. So how am I able to achieve this? People have come with questions. Most of the times what I do is I introduce them to a particular DIY book that I wrote for beginners in writing. I usually refer them to the book that, okay, cool, for me not to waste time, get this book, study it, use it. If you have any question, if you need any help, you can always come back to me. But now I'm taking it upon myself to share my writing acts. How am I able to? Okay, recently I wrote a story series for Valentine, as a Valentine gift to my followers on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's run up to 8 episodes, and it wasn't even something that I had planned in January or in December. It was just something I stumbled upon while I was on social media, and people were talking about Valentine around the first week in February, and I was like, okay, what can I do? I wanted it to be a short ebook, a short story before, but because I went back to the instruction I received for the year in my notepad and I ran through it, and I realized that, okay, I wasn't meant to publish any book for the year, so I had to switch it over and turn it to a story series. So within a week, the whole story series was ready, like the 8 episodes was ready, and all I do every day was just to design the flyer that will go with it, and also run some editing and posts. That's what I did. So how am I able to do this within a space of a week and about 3 days? And I'm able to give contents, develop articles, share as much as I can, as much as I want, without revealing everything about me. So this is what this episode is about: sharing my writing acts, those stuff that I do and make me write. The first thing about my story series is that I don't start a series until I'm done writing, for 3 important reasons. The first reason is that so that I don't get stuck on the way. Life sometimes can be unpredictable. You might think you are here today, you're busy today, and tomorrow you might get another assignment. You might get other instruction, especially if you're a man of the spirit, you're born again, you have the Holy Spirit, and you might get an instruction to do some other things. or to go somewhere or receive an assignment. So when I have my whole series done, if whether it's 22 episodes or 8 episodes or 4 episodes or I don't know, no matter the length, once it's complete, before I start to run it on my social media platform or my blog, it becomes easy for me to just post. I don't have to bother my head about, I've not written the next episode. Okay, then another reason why I always have my whole episode of my whole series done is such that the comments of the readers does not influence what I want to write, in the sense that I already have the way, the pattern, the plots, the everything, how it's gonna go and all. But because of a particular comment of a reader on an episode, they might tend to, let me please this person and write it this way, which is not supposed to be so. Even though you write for the consumption of people, you must always stick to your message and your vision. So that's the second reason. And the last reason why I always have the whole episode down before I start to run is that along the line I might change my mind and just choose to publish it as a book, and editing becomes easy, in the sense that you might be in episode 8, and because of you're trying to navigate your plot, you might have to go back to episode 4 and change a name or change a character or change a particular dialogue in the character. So it's better you finish the whole series before you start running. That's like a free tip, which is not even part of what I have written down here. So the first writing hacks is hard copy over soft copy. For me, when I want to write, some people are okay typing on their phone, using voice to text on Google Docs, using typing away. I'm not really comfortable with it. I write more easily when I use my pen and paper, because that was what I grew up with in writing. Like then when I started writing, smartphones were not common in my country, and laptop is a thing of luxury too for me then. So most of my stories were in notebooks, notepad, and diaries and all. So till date, I love drafting out my story or my article with my pen and paper first before I type, either with my laptop or my phone. But most times I use my laptop because it allows me to type faster. It allows me to copy and paste without without the other apps on my phone interfering with what I'm doing and all, or without being distracted into checking my WhatsApp messages or my text messages. So that's why I stick with my laptop for typing. So the first hack is always write it down first in black and white. Write it with pen and paper first before you jump into phone. Because maybe because of my environment here, and even if you are in a place that the lights, electricity supply is stable, there may be challenge of you not being close to your phone. Your battery is low, you need to charge your phone and all those challenges and all. But paper is always there, pen is always there. So for me, what works for me, my major writing hacks is hard copy over soft copy. I write more on my paper, then when it's time to type, I just dump what I've done. For some it might be, that's double work, maybe, but it works for me. It keeps me from postponing to write, because I already have something done in black and white. Okay, the next writing hack I have is reading over writing. Yes, I am a writer. I love to write cool, but I also love to read. I have books. I love my library more than any other thing, and even more than my clothes, my shoes, and my bags. I cherish my books. I don't joke with them. So I've realized that to grow in my writing, to grow as a writer rather, I should read more, and I try as much as possible to read from other Christian writers, Christian novelists, Persian writers, to read across board, read across time management, personal development, finances, maritals, read novels when I feel like it. And I so much love reading that I am a polygamist reader, in the sense that I don't read one book at once. I read at least 3 books at once. I have one that I read during my morning devotion. I have the one I read during my quiet time. I have one that is always in my bag wherever I'm going to have a book in my bag. And I have soft copy on my reading app too, on my smartphone, that I can read anywhere at any time. So that's how I read. And the more you read, the more you learn techniques of other writers. The more you see how people navigate their plots. As in, when you're a creative writer now, you see how people bring out. If you read more of Christian literatures, you see how people bring out insights from the scriptures, how people write, spiritual books, and it's not boring, and you still learn a lot, and they still push and teach the truth of the word of God. So the second hack is reading over writing. Read more than you write. That's my advice for upcoming writers. Don't just say, okay, I can write and jump on. Read book in your niche. Yes, it is very important. Then read across board to have the knowledge. In case, for instance, there was a time I needed to write a story. I needed insight into diseases that are caused by excessive drinking of alcohol. I had to go online. I had to ask nurses around me. I had to talk to medical people around me, and I had to make my research. So writing also affords you to read across board, which is very, very important. Okay. Also, another hack is that, let writing be a lifestyle for you, in the sense that always go around with your pen and notepad. If your bag is too small for a notepad, make sure you have a notepad open on your smartphone that you can jot in immediately. Ideas drop. You might be in a bus and people will be having conversation around you, and a story idea will drop on you. You might be in church, your pastor is preaching, and a book idea, article idea, story idea can jump on you. You should be able to document. For, like I said in my first point, jotter and pen works more for me, because I cannot always rely on my smartphone, which is limited by its battery power. That's the truth. And because I don't type fast on smartphone, so jotter and pen always, there's a way I can even have a storyboard where I draw the process. I draw my plots out. Okay, this is what will happen in the beginning. This is what the whole content in the middle will be, and at the end, okay, they will get married. Even whatever they have passed through, or at the end, she will be happy serving the Lord without even being in a relationship, or whatever will happen at the end too. I will draw it out like in a progression, like this. So that is how I run. So always be ready to document your ideas, to document your pictures. Always have a jotter and pen with you. Or your notepad or your smartphone. Make sure if you are the type that use notepad as much, put it in sections for your creative writing, for your random thoughts, for your articles. Have section. I think Google Keep is very good with those. I use Google Keep, guys. The fact that I said I don't like typing on smartphone does not mean that I don't use all these things. I do. Okay, guys. So Google Keeps allow you to sectionize like to put your work in sections. So you can do random sermon notes, you can do articles, you can do storyboard, you can do DIY books and all the stuff, so that when it's time for you to put flesh on them and build them up fully, you can do that. So the last writing hack I'm going to share here, because my business Impact Consult runs a lot of, like, about 2 to 3 courses on content creation, writing, and ebook creation and all. So we don't have to give everything out there on the podcast. But the last point, which is very important and you must never forget, all the points are important in the journey of writing, but the last point I'm going to share, maybe I can choose to add a bonus too, is that always start out by having a summary of what you want to write. When you have a summary of what you want to write, it is like having a vision of what you want to talk about, which is very important. If you don't write down the whole plot in a summary form, you will lose yourself in the middle. You will know where you start from, but you will not know how to get to where you are going to. So always, and that's one of the stuffs that I really talked about in my book, The Beginner's Guide to Writing. I even did like an example of how to take these basic 7 steps of writing that I listed in the book. I give an example at the end of each chapter. So always have a summary. Like, I can't shout this enough. Have a picture of what you want to have. If you don't, you won't be able to get that book out of yourself. And if after you've tried and done all these things, I cannot write, ghostwrite your book. Give people the idea you have. They will build, ghostwriters will build it up for you, and it still carry your name, and nobody will know that you didn't sit down and write it yourself. And also, these days, ebooks can be used to generate as a lead magnet, to generate more contacts for your WhatsApp, to market your book, to market your business, to market whatever you do. So don't look down on writing because you don't read. People are hungry for knowledge. So let's say you are a guru in marketing, like you know how to. You can write a short how to do a short basics of marketing, and you sell on digital platforms. And the good thing about selling books is that you'll be in your house doing other stuff that you are doing, and you'll be getting paid for your book. For instance, now the other day I was about to step out to work to do something when I got an alert from BAM Books. BAM Books pay per readership. Like when people read your book on BAM Books, you have a percentage that BAM Book will pay you because people subscribe to their platform to read your book. Yeah, so it's kind of a passive source of income that you don't have to struggle to get paid, because the book is there. In the next 2-3 years, a book that you wrote 2 years ago, you're still making money from it. If you wish, you can retract it and just do some editing and republish, or whatever you want to do, maybe add some things to it, but it's still there making money steadily for you rather. So those are the basic writing acts that I want to share here. Always remember that hard copy over soft copy. Write more with pen and paper. It helps your brain to process your information, to process the picture, to draw it out. Also know that the best writers are good readers, are voracious readers. And also always carry a pen and paper. Always make sure that you have your notepad available to jot down ideas, visions, and story ideas, and to jot down what you want to write about. And lastly, always write out a summary before you start at all, what you want the whole book to be about. For more tips, apps, or you want to take one of the training, you know where to reach me, my bio. Until the next time when I come back, I really appreciate it if there's something particular you want me to talk about. You have questions for me. Yes, very soon. Like I told people on my WhatsApp, we are going to be having guests on this show, 1. Then 2, we are going to be I'm going to be doing another Q&A about relationship, about sex, about a lot of questions that people ask me these days. I'm going to be doing another Q&A on that. So if you have any topic suggestions, or you want me to talk about something I've not been able to talk about, you have questions for me, kindly send me a mail on letustalk990@gmail.com. letustalk990@gmail.com. Until next week, when I will come your way again, grow in grace. Bye bye.